These are hospital records that, funny that a 2013 diagnosis that wasn't accepted law was put in, that wasn't ever mentioned, nor even thoughted, was all of a sudden put in and said, oh, it was founded on 2006. Yet there was no document, and I have a letter from Dr. Ricky, my doctor at the time, that says I never had any psychiatric history. So there's my business, Arizona, right? That's why these people in Arizona, the ones I recognized, right? You know, and these are half, right? Half images, cats. He's been wanted for it. Remember that guy? This, not that one. This one says he's olcie. That's Chris Johnson again. Right, this is the names they hear, and this is at the times of actual pedophiling. You know how you guys can hear me? Well, I do video images for these people. And these are in Arizona, the names they hear, even the charges. Right? Anyways, it goes from 2016, right? And I have more. Alright, some doctors, the females. There's one page, there's all these female doctors and nurses. Right, and there's one that looks exactly like Homer Simpson that I told Dr. 5 of them. Alright, anyways. So, this doctor, I'll show you the files I have. So this is original, right? I went in, and they said take 4 Percocets, or a Percocet every 4 hours. The doctor gives it every 8 hours, right? So these are just MRIs and stuff from 2017. They said, oh, I was on cocaine, and I went immediately and went to the blood test, and I never had that. I don't want to give too much information, but anyways, and this is the one that I got in the paper. They're all on methamphetamine, and I'm just a supporter of them. I'm not with them, nor use them. And see that I was allergic to morphine pills, not to morphine of past use, right? But these whores, they go to emergency hospitals because they listen inside, right? Like Claudia Bowman's children, they sodomized children to what I was killed. See, this report that wasn't, see, it was duly diagnosed, and if it was diagnosed as possibly, that's not a diagnosis. And this wasn't even ready, and in 2006 they said this was real. Yet right here, it wasn't real. There's nothing here. So this is all about a lamppost. And again, if you miss an exam, right, the only way to do it without failing is to actually get, they do it at McMaster this way. And look at the it's not like, you know, disability accommodations. For some reason, they do it that way. And so I would have failed if, and I was writing, right? I didn't have a computer, and the girl goes, speed up. He's writing as fast, so that's why I had to get a note taker, which it says here. But I didn't take the extra half hour every hour, because that would be disabled, right? And then, you know what they do? I wrote the student representative, and instead of her saying you have to write the student alumni rep, she goes, oh, he's writing me nonsensical. So that was one of the complaints. And then look at this, family. Where's Trudeau? Thank you to your family. That's to me. It doesn't mean that everyone that I know or anyone. Trudeau says thanks. And again, there's no cocaine, damage from that. That was from a bottle over there from Mafia. They're an hour after hours. They weren't. I didn't know them from the streets. I don't know if they shot me. Because in Hebron, I was stabbed. I was told they're going to stab me, and I went thirsty immediately. Only a year ago, I found out that's what happens if you get stabbed. And then they two-spirit you, and then they try to give you HIV. So anyways, this Petrosaur is one of the accomplices. He tries to steal my guitar work, it seems, because he's the one, or his boss, used a diagnosis that wasn't diagnosed. I think this is the day that they said, oh, look, he has cocaine on his nose. And I didn't have any. And this, their records were reprimanded. That aoesoaoeaoaoeaopoaeao, the one who isn't, writes fairy tales saying that I make everything up so that my brother and him can sodomize women to death, to killed. And then they use me and everything that I know and us. So that's the enemy. And I wrote the UN today that I want to kill them if they bother me. That's law. My godmother's tombstone, and my birthday's 1-2-5, and then 12-5, backwards is 7-1. I told the psychiatrist that. She's like, she didn't care. I didn't go to McMaster because it was the 125th anniversary, and they don't own 1-2-5. My godmother's tombstone is 2-1-15-17. That's my birthday. You know what that means? Her mother bought a tomb because I was kidnapped, molested, and sodomized so severely and not ever, and I was hypnotized out of remembering. And you guys at McMaster go, oh, he has good hypnosis. We can use that to accept so much sodomy, and we can sodomize everyone to the point of him. Really? And I'm not going to have you all killed? Really? Really? And you use murdwer that doesn't exist as to fight HIV while giving HIV? You're the stupidest people. I ain't persons. I ain't disabled. You want a fucking war? I'll start when I'm having doctors killed on site. You'll see.